Max, that brings me to my question. How would have Kobe's team done against the Warriors?
They'd have lost. My friend Rick Fox is going to kill me for this one.
Which team?
All the Lakers teams lose to this Warriors team.
All?
All of them.
You mean
Blanket statement.
All of them.
Showtime?
Everyone.
You mean the 2001 Lakers team?
Yeah, everyone. But we're talking about Kobe's championship Lakers teams.
Stephen A. said.
Now, I'm going to have to start by explaining the difference between better and greater.
Okay.
Are these Warriors teams greater than those Lakers teams? No. What's the difference? I'm going to go to track and field because track and field is purely objective.
Okay.
Better is measured by how fast you get from point A to point B. So take the 100-meter dash. The quicker the time, the better you are.
What?
So, you got to follow me.
Let him finish.
So every top 10 sprinter in the world today is better than Jesse Owens. You know how we know? Because opinions are taken out, and we can look at the time. Every single top 10 sprinter in the world today is better than Jesse Owens. How many are as great? None, one, something like that. The point is he fared better against his contemporaries than anyone except maybe Usain Bolt fares against his contemporaries. So you can say he's as great or greater, but you can't say he's as good. You can't say he's better than. We have the times to prove it. In the one sport you can measure objectively, you see everyone gets better and better and better. Now, how does this apply to the Lakers? Because Stephen A. sees Shaq and Kobe, and in their case, they may have also been, better in a kind of pure basketball sense. If you sent these Warriors back to that era, maybe the Lakers win. If you sent them both to a neutral era, maybe the Lakers win. But if they are playing basketball in 2016, you mean to tell me, let's take the 2000-2001 Lakers. That's the greatest incarnation of any team in Kobe's career, right? Iteration of it. It's when Shaq was the MVP and they were unstoppable. They went 15-1 in the postseason. They hit 439 threes that whole season. The Warriors hit 1,077. They more than doubled their total. So that team, no matter how you slice it, they're counting by two. These guys are counting by threes. There's no hand checking. You got zone defenses. You have the spread pick and roll. Now, if that team had time to prepare for this team a season long, they could tweak the roster, get three-point shooters, they could compete. But they're not going to beat a team that is better offensive efficiency. That's by the numbers. They're better defensive efficiency, these Warriors teams. That's by the numbers. And you're simply not going to beat them counting by twos, Stephen A., no matter how you slice it. Don't pretend you're not amazed by those points. The only way to be not amazed is to not listen.
You shouldn't even be allowed to talk basketball after that comment. It's unbelievable to me. First of all, a couple of things that we have to take into consideration. We can't have it all. You can't have the players and the rules of today and all of this other stuff that comes along with it that allows you to qualify your statements by throwing in about 17 ifs before you come to your conclusion. We got to look at talent. And what I'm saying to you is this. You can sit up there and say, okay, the Warriors are unbeatable based on today's rules. Hell yeah. You know why? Because you can't touch them. If you sat up there and you had bad breath, all right, and you didn't take an Altoid, you might get called for 5 fouls, okay? So surely under those circumstances, yeah, they could win, but the reality is clear. When we look at these rosters, Max Kellerman, when we look at the rosters of the Los Angeles Lakers, let's take into account 2000, 2001. That Lakers team, that was a lot
of good perimeter defenders on that team.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah. How about that? Because see, you forgot to bring that up. I'm not gonna forget. 15-1 in the playoffs. That's what they were. They had the most dominant force of the modern day era in Shaquille O'Neal. No answer. No answer.
No answer, but you counted by twos and ones, because sometimes only has one foul shot.
Wait a minute. But who's fouling him? Because you only got but so many fouls to give. It's going to be Klay Thompson collapsing, Draymond Green collapsing. You got Derek Fisher. I'm going to bring up Derek Fisher. Do you know why? Because you talk about somebody that would have been all up in Steph Curry, making him very, very uncomfortable. Oh, that would be. And why would I bring that up? I would have never thought to bring that up before these playoffs. But what I saw happen to Steph Curry in the playoffs,
100%.
Particularly, so I'm not going to ignore that. I'm also not going to forget Ron Harper, who was a pretty damn good defender, who, by the way, had like a 6 to 7 inch height advantage over Steph Curry, for crying out loud. At least a 5 inch.
I mean, you said he was hurt. That's why he had a bad series.
Wait a minute.
You said he was hurt.
That's not the point. That's not the point. What I am saying to you is this. When you look at their talent, okay, who you going to defend? We got questions about who Golden State's going to defend now. What were you going to defend then? And by the way, I just said all of these things.
Where are they playing?
Hold on.
Where are they playing?
Time out. I just said all of these things. I didn't even get to Kobe. I didn't even bring up Kobe. I didn't even get to Kobe yet. I'm talking about the Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba.
Yeah.
The Kobe Bryant that averaged 28. The Kobe Bryant who was a second-team all-defensive player. For 4 straight years, Kobe Bryant was either first-team or second-team all-defense. And you're going to put either Steph Curry or Klay Thompson in front of his face, and you think they're going to score?
I will remind you.
Excuse me.
I will remind you.
Excuse me.
That the Phoenix Suns, with that primitive style that the Warriors have basically perfected, like the beginnings of the spread pick and roll, the Steve Nash, gave the Lakers run. This is them on steroids, so to speak.
With your nonsensical stuff for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Chill. That Kobe
Longest
stuff
5 minutes I ever had on this show.
That Kobe Bryant with those 5, you could say maybe you didn't deserve it. Maybe you didn't deserve it. The point that I'm trying to make to you is this. That was years later with Phoenix. We talk about 2000, 2001.
When are they playing? Are they playing today or are they playing then?
That's my point.
Yes.
You sat up there.
Today.
You sat up there today.
Yes.
My point to you is this. You can get called for a foul for having bad breath.
Right.
Kobe,
So you agree?
Shaq.
So you agree today they wouldn't win?
No. I don't agree with that.
Oh, so
Because what I'm saying to you is this. What I saw in the playoffs that was allowed was more emblematic of what took place years ago than what takes place in today's game. They're not beating the Los Angeles Lakers. They make it interesting, but they're not beating Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah. Shaq's counting by 2s and sometimes 1s. He only hits 1 out of 2. They're counting by 3s. It's math. It's arithmetic.
You know what? Okay. All right.
I mean, the Lakers.
From now on, you know what?
Gentlemen,
I got a
we
right
gotta
to
go
talk
to
boxing.
break. We have a right.
I got a right to talk
Is there a
boxing.
possibility that
Because if
Tony
you can say
Romo
that
could
stuff
be
about
done?
Coach Boats, what kind of quotes you need today, huh?
Winning the SEC probably is harder than winning the national championship.
Can't use athletes to make millions of dollars and they get nothing. Wait a minute, though. That's what we do, though, isn't it? Oh, okay. That is the Death Valley, isn't it? Or is there another one around? Yeah, there's 2 of them. That's right. There's 2 Death Valleys. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay, we had a sorry practice for the offensive guys. They looked pretty pitiful.
We praise them, and then we yell at them. That's called coaching.
First of all, I'm resigning. I'm not retiring. Get that part straight.
Sorry practice, classic material. Our next guest is the only coach who has earned the winningest record at 2 different SEC schools, leading the Florida Gators to 6 SEC championships and a national title, along with elevating the South Carolina program to new heights. He's also the only person who has won both the Heisman Trophy as a player and a national title as a coach, along with playing and coaching in the NFL. And now he adds author to that lengthy resume. The head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, with us today. Thank you so much for being here. And we got your new book here, which we will discuss shortly, if people can check that out there. But I want to start with the Heisman race, since you've won one, right? 3 clear candidates as of right now: Deshaun Watson, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey. Coach, who do you like?
I like all of them. I really like Deshaun Watson, the Clemson quarterback. He's a class young man. Of course, I like McCaffrey, too. I mean, they all could win. Leonard Fournette, he didn't run far against Alabama, but against everybody else, now he went up and down the field. So I think whichever team, you know, wins their first 10 or 11 games and they're sitting there like that, well, he will be the favorite.
You stepped away from the game as a coach after a 2-4 start last year, but the previous 4 years you won a bowl game and had 2 very successful years, 3 actually, 2011 and 2013, where you won 11-2 each year. I want to know how much, what is it like for you, rather, right now, watching the game and not coaching?
Well, Stephen A., mentally, I prepared for this, I think. I really do. I knew I couldn't coach forever. Very fortunate to go 30 years as a head coach. People ask me all the time, how'd you last so long? And my comment's usually, well, I didn't get fired is usually why. And and we won. We won. We didn't cheat. And hopefully the ability to get along with people helped me to last that long. But fortunately, my alma mater, University of Florida, got me back as an ambassador consultant. I get to hang around football practice a little bit. Coach McElwain, he'll ask me a few questions and I can make some suggestions, but that's about it. So anyway, so I got a team. I got the Gators, and you know, I still pull for South Carolina, pull for Duke. But Florida is my school now, and I'm fortunate to be associated with them.
Why was it important for you to write the book now, Coach?
Well, I heard one time somebody said, if you don't write your book and tell your story, somebody else will. So I've had a few books written about me. Most of them are really pretty good. but some of them are not all accurate. So this is, in my words, Buddy Martin, who's written some books for Terry Bradshaw and did one with Urban Meyer, is my writer. I've known him for close to 50 years. So it's an accurate book. It's my story. It's how a guy that somehow or another played 10 years in the NFL and somehow or another got to be a coach. You know, they don't have a coaching college or a coaching school where you go to learn how to coach. Here's my degree. I'm ready for a job. You got to know somebody to give you a job. And then if it doesn't work out very well, you better know somebody else that'll give you another job. And I was so blessed early in my career. I worked for 2 coaches that got fired, and I looked like I was finished. I didn't know anybody. But Doug Dickey hired me, and then Pepper Rogers, and then Red Wilson at Duke University. And why do I love Duke University so much? They hired me twice when they had no job. So that's one of my favorite schools, certainly.
You talked about writing the book because if you don't tell your story, somebody else will. Talk to me first about what is it that you wanted people to know about you that they otherwise didn't know.
I think, Stephen A., just how fortunate and blessed I was all the way through, really, my life. Growing up, a kid in East Tennessee, my dad was a Presbyterian minister. I always had small churches. So, I mean, he raised 3 kids on about $4,000 to $5,000 a year, which was plenty because we didn't need a lot of money. But then we moved to Johnson City, a bigger town, play the highest level of high school competition. So I was able to go through there, play football, basketball, baseball. And then Ray Graves offered me a scholarship to come to Florida. And just some choices in life and some sort of miraculous, some people call them divine appointments, where you just say, thank you, Lord. We won this game that led to this.
Opening doors.
You know, in sports, you win that one crucial game. Sometimes you start losing again. But if you win that big upset and then you go on and win a conference championship, that's really special and something you remember for a lifetime.
What portrayal of you has been most inaccurate and most annoying to you of all the things that have been said about you over the years?
Oh, I try not to pay too much attention to to all of that because I read in one of the Attila the Hun leadership books that the more success you have, the more criticism you'll get from your enemies, your opponents. So I really haven't let that too much bother me. And I really think I've got really all good friends in the coaching business. Even the Georgia fans sort of like me now because I'm finished coaching. Some of the FSU fans may still be a little upset because of what happened that last year when, actually 20 years ago, when they tried to knock Danny Warfel out of the game. They tried to hurt quarterbacks, and I just didn't think that was part of the game, so I said something about it. And fortunately, we got the rematch with them there in the Sugar Bowl. But I think it's a pretty accurate book, and it's just, you know, there's a lot of blessings and good fortune that I was able to have along the way.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. Before we let you go, I wanted to get your thoughts. Earlier, we were discussing Colin Kaepernick sitting during the national anthem. If he was on your team, how would you have handled that?
I would say he has a right to do what he has to do, and sometimes it's not up to all of us to agree or disagree. But that's something that he wanted to express, and that's what he did, and he certainly got the attention of the world doing it. I remember when I first got the job at South Carolina, I was at a function, and I said, we need to take that dang flag down in front of our Capitol, the Confederate flag. I said, it does no good for our state. And, oh, man, you can't talk about that. You can't. Well, if somebody asks me, I'm going to give my opinion. And fortunately, well, not fortunately, but unfortunately, a terrible event caused the flag to come down just last year.
Real quickly, what about your thoughts? You came over here and commented immediately following our segment about Ezekiel Elliott. You have no problems with him going to the marijuana dispensary? I mean, what are your thoughts about that, sir?
On a game trip.
Yeah, let me tell you, Stephen A., what I always told our team. I said, fellas, if you want to smoke pot, you can't play on this team. Simple as that. And you just can't do it. It's against the rules. And I'm not here to debate whether it's right or wrong, but you can't smoke pot and play college football. And when your playing days are over, if you want to go smoke pot, I can't control that. But as long as you're on this team,
got to follow the rules.
Yeah, and we're going to have drug tests, and that's just a rule. So you got to get used to it. The NFL guys, I don't know if they got ways to get around it. I don't know all the answers, but don't blow your career by breaking the rules.
Yep.
Okay.
Coach, thank you so much. Again, check out his book, Head Ball Coach, My Life in Football, in stores now. Always great to see you.
Always
Thank
great
you
to see
so
you.
much
Thank you.
for the
Thank
time.
you.